Momo Ayase fears abandonment more than any demon. Her grandmother publicly humiliated her once, isolating her from peers who already thought she was weird. Now she clings to Okarun and her found family with fierce desperation, because losing them means being that lonely outcast again. Ken Takakura, Okarun, is terrified of being worthless. Years of bullying convinced him he's a burden to everyone around him. That's why he constantly apologizes and puts himself down. He genuinely believes Momo would be better off without him, and that fear paralyzes him more than any curse. Ira Shiratori can't handle being ordinary. She built her entire identity on being desired and special, the center of attention. When acrobatic Silky's encounter nearly changed everything, it shattered that delusion. So she doubles down on being the chosen one because admitting she's just another girl is existential crisis. Gigi and Joji fears helplessness with every fiber of his being. Childhood supernatural trauma showed him how powerless he really is when things go wrong. His cheerful personality is armor. If he stops smiling, he has to face the terror that he can't protect anyone when it truly matters. Demola carries survivor's guilt so heavy it's crushing her. She's the last of her entire race, watched everyone she loved disappear, and wished she'd gone with them too. Living feels like betraying those she lost. Her biggest fear is that her survival was a cosmic mistake with no meaning. Kenta Sakata is terrified of being seen for who he really is. He dumbs himself down and hides his interests because deep down he believes he's the creepy otaku everyone will reject. Humor keeps people at arm's length where they can't discover how weird he thinks he is. Seiko Ayase fears failing Momo more than her own death. She already lost her granddaughter's trust once after that public incident, and now she walks a tightrope between protection and independence. The supernatural world destroyed so many families. She's terrified it'll claim Momo too. Turbo Granny isn't protecting that tunnel for herself. She's terrified of forgotten victims. Those lost girls haunt her because society moved on, ignored their suffering, made their pain meaningless. Her rage is really fear that if she stops, everyone will forget them completely. Acrobatic Silky doesn't fear loss. She fears separation from her daughter. Debt collectors ripped away the only joy in her difficult life, and she passed on knowing she failed as a mother. Possessing Ira was desperate hunger for that maternal bond, because existing without it is agony.
Evil Eye spent centuries fearing eternal rejection. His presence corrupts human minds, drives them to darkness and despair. So he learned that he's inherently monstrous. Gigi's acceptance shattered that. Turns out his biggest fear was never being shown he's worthy of connection. Flatwood's monster is just terrified of being hunted. Stranded on Earth, constantly pursued by humans who see it as a threat, every encounter reinforces that this planet wants it gone. The aggression isn't malice, it's the panic of a cornered animal that knows it can't go home. The Serpians fear extinction so deeply they became monsters. Their species is dying, so they abduct and violate humans to reproduce, justifying horror with survival. That fear twisted them into exactly the abominations they're terrified of becoming. The Cur can't handle obsolescence. They conquer worlds to prove their dominance has meaning, because losing wars means their entire existence was pointless. Every battle is really fighting against the terror that they don't matter in the cosmic scale. Unjizuma fears weakness more than anything. His delinquent mask hides the terror of becoming like the victims he sees around him, vulnerable, powerless, hurt. Aggression is armor, because if he shows softness, he becomes the target. Rin Sawaki is terrified of losing control of reality. She's science-minded, needs rational explanations, and the supernatural shatters everything she thought she understood. That anxiety of not being able to make sense of the world is paralyzing her. Koki Yukishiro fears inadequacy among supernatural warriors. Everyone around him has powers, fights aliens and yokai, while he's painfully ordinary. His overconfidence is desperation to matter in a group where he's constantly reminded he's the weakest link. Mr. Mantis Shrimp fears irrelevance as an enforcer. His entire identity is violence and control. Without enemies to crush, who is he? The terror of losing purpose drives every brutal action. The Keto family can't admit they're frauds. Jealous of Seiko's real spiritual powers, they're terrified someone will expose that they're insignificant pretenders. Their schemes come from fear of being revealed as the nobodies they suspect they are. Miko and Kei fear the supernatural truth Momo represents. They'd rather reject their friend than face the paranormal reality she's offering. Ignorance feels safer than confronting a world where demons and aliens are real.
Nessie is terrified of captivity and control. Captured, studied, weaponized, freedom represents survival itself. Every moment in chains feels like an ending, so it fights with the desperation of something that's already lost everything. Count Saint Germain fears mortality finally catching up. This immortal occultist manipulates everyone around him because every scheme delays the inevitable confrontation with his own ending. Control over others is really control over fate itself.